All right, so this is one of those interviews that I'm super excited for.
Oh, yeah.
Because, talk about, somebody that, A, we've wanted to have on the pod for a while and just haven't had a chance to do it. Paths haven't crossed. But B, just catching it at just the right time. Because super excited to see this quest that George Bryan Brothers, George is on this quest to make it to the U.S. Open. And we've been following along, watching. He's moved on now to the sectionals. And what's so cool is that he's bringing us along for the ride.
Yep.
What I want to dive in, I want to ask him about how you walk that line, because you and we are no world-class golfers, right? Nope. But we know there's days we play better and worse. And oftentimes when we're filming, it's hard.
Yeah.
We usually play our best golf when the cameras are off because we're running around trying to make sure we've got every shot filmed, and there's a lot that takes you out of your game. So I think what George has been doing is coming up with this formula where he can bring us along and film, but also still play incredible golf. Is super exciting.
It is exciting. And I just watched the video last night, his recent one where he shot a 67 in the qualifiers, going to sectionals in June. We're going to talk to him about that. And we're also going to talk to him about what he has coming after that, which is possibly his quest for the Open Championship.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got a busy summer ahead of him, and he can make it to Brookline. He could.
Yeah. And what's so cool too is that, don't forget, the channel is both of them. It's Wesley as well, who you see a little bit less of on the channel recently because of the fact that, he's playing on the PGA Tour. But even that insight and being able to see, and like a lot of times George will go and do these vlog style videos following Wesley out there on tour. So one thing I would say is that, you've probably already heard of Bryan Brothers. They've been doing this for quite some time, the trick shots and everything all over, the content game. But if you're not watching the YouTube channel specifically, make sure you subscribe, because just some incredible stuff they're doing over there that I'm really, as awesome as it is how much golf YouTube has grown, I'm not seeing a whole lot of other people who are doing what they're doing.
Right.
Where you've got a brother on the tour, but I also want to ask that question and get into like, how is it that there's so much golf talent in this family?
It's crazy.
Even their sister plays at a very high level.
Yeah.
It's
a golf-rich family.
The door could be almost, LPGA Tour level.
Right.
So like what is it that helped get them all there? I'd imagine there's a little bit of, we see the friendly competition.
Yeah, we do. I'm curious to find out.
I'm very curious to find out. So super excited for this one. We won't keep you guys waiting too long. Let's do a quick word from our sponsors, and then we're going to bring George on the show. All right, guys, we're excited to share with you guys some exclusive opportunities from Titleist, but to be part of it, you have to join Team Titleist. Team Titleist gives you access to opportunities like prototype testing. When you get that white box of balls in the mail, a lot of you have seen that on some of our social stories and say, hey, how do I get in on that? Well, it's Team Titleist. They got special events, limited edition gear from Titleist, that TT that you see on the hat sometime. So much great stuff, so many perks of being part of Team Titleist. And you can sign up now. You can join us on Team Titleist by going to Titleist.com/Team Titleist. That's one word, Titleist.com/Team Titleist. Some super exciting opportunities. Join the team. Check it out. We'll see you guys over there.
All right, guys, the Tour Alpha from FootJoy leads the pack as the most tech-focused, crazy comfortable, win-ready shoe in golf. Frank, pull one of these out. Hold one of those up. The Tour Alpha's power reimagined, and it sets the standard of stability. Look at that thing. Look how pretty in the bottom.
Talk about stability. You see it
There's
right
your
here.
stability,
Yeah.
and look at the comfort. I mean, bend that thing a little bit. It's just the comfort is elite. Today's athletes, they demand the most secure foundation to maximize their power. I mean, it's key in a golf swing. We know the power comes from the ground up. That's why it's so important to have the right shoes. This shoe, in fact, features FootJoy's most advanced stability system called the OPS system. It provides that ultimate support and control through the golf swing. It's pretty amazing technology, available in a variety of colors than just this one you see here. You go laced, you can even go BOA, the non-lace, which I know a lot of people like that click lock technology. This shoe is all about power and performance, guys. Learn more about the Tour Alpha by visiting footjoy.com.
All right, guys, we got George Bryan on the line here. George, I'm psyched. This is overdue.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to be here. Thanks for reaching out, and I'm glad our schedules could kind of work out.
Yeah, I'm so excited for this, especially with what you've got going on right now, which we're going to dig into in a moment, talking about that U.S. Open Qualifier And the other thing that you've recently been talking about is even the Open Championship, you know, and some of the really, really exciting stuff that you've got going on ahead of that. But the first thing I want to do, and something we like to do with all of our guests, is kind of rewind a little bit. Talk a little bit about where you got your start. So I know one thing is that you and your brother, you've been doing, especially like YouTube for quite some time, but it goes back even further than that. And I know trick shots were involved, but give us a little bit of an overview of where you got started in the content game and kind of bringing your golf journey out there, whichever it would be, the social media, the YouTube, that type of stuff.
Yeah, so it kind of started 2014 is when we got started. Also, if I get distracted looking at myself talk and move in the corner while talking, just don't let it get me. So 2014 is when YouTube started for us, and that came on the heels of basically a failed first go at mini tour life. I graduated college 2010. Good college career, so I'm like, okay, this is going to be easy. Golf is easy. Well, ran out of money by the end of 2013. I was like, what do I do? Like, I want to keep playing golf, but I don't know what that means. I don't know what that looks like. Caddy a little bit here and there, teach some lessons with my dad. And then me and Wesley saw a video on ESPN of two kids or a guy hitting the ball out of midair. I'm like, first of all, they don't look like real golfers. I think we can do better. And so we just kind of farted around and recreated that shot and put it on the internet. And people were like, oh my God, this is awesome. And so like, okay, well, our friends on Facebook were like, oh, that's so cool. People at church were like, hey, that was a cool video. And it was enough people outside of family to be like, well, I mean, let's just make another one of these videos. And that's one that kind of went semi-viral in the golf space, and was more people watching it than just friends and family. So that's when we're like, I mean, I don't know what we got here, but we might have something cool, and let's just run with it. So that kind of just snowballed into one thing after another, where we started making YouTube videos, traveling around the world doing kind of these trick shot videos, and then so that's where content started. Well, then Wesley gets on the PJ or web.com, and then PJ Tour Card. So that kind of derailed the content side of things for me. So then I shifted into playing full time, chasing kind of a pro golf 2.0 or second rendition of me the tour, and played Latin Tour, Canada Tour, and then all the while still trying to like keep up with YouTube and social media and just doing a little things to keep it on life support. Well, then 2020 comes, and some buddies were like, hey, why don't you try YouTube again or do some like golf vlogs or something? I think you're talented enough. I'm like, I don't really know, but I'll give it a go. And that's 2020. I started making videos again, and people started enjoying them because it was real golf, my journey on pro golf, but also telling Wesley's story, us doing matches. And it was just kind of landed, I guess, in something we're more comfortable doing because we're telling, our story through just real golf, how to, we can help people get better at golf. People can enjoy some good golf because, Wesley on the PJ Tour, I played high level pro golf. So it was just like a perfect storm, and kind of crazy how, 8 years after starting in YouTube, this is kind of, where I'm at. So it's been a fun little journey, wild, crazy, weird, and definitely unexpected.
Yeah. And it's a tough line to walk because, I mean, it's not easy to play well and create good content and film when you're out there, and you seem to walk that line really well, especially now with some of these very important practice rounds and things like that you're playing. But I remember you even saying in a recent video, mentioning how you've really it's become a big passion with the videos and the content that you're creating. So where do you sit right now on a level of priority of chasing a competitive golf kind of career in one way or another versus fully embracing this idea of being a golf content creator on YouTube?
Yeah, it definitely is, ingrained in me. So, I mean, even backing up is like from when I was 4 years old, or I mean, that's exaggerated, but 7 years old when I played my first tournament, all the way, my whole life, tournament golf is something I've been passionate about and wanted to do. And like, that's just all I know. And so getting away from that's always going to be tough. And that being said, it's like, so I'm a tournament golfer by, nature, but I really enjoy creating the content, making videos, filming videos, kind of trying to, I don't do my editing anymore, but like just figuring out how to make a cool video and seeing it all come together is like something that's super enjoyable and a lot of fun to me. But doing that requires a lot of time and effort away from actually practicing real golf, stuff that you need to do to get better at golf. So it's just definitely a tension. But right now, I think I'm more on the lines of, hey, I want to give myself the best shot at the U.S. Open, qualifying for the Open, doing all these things that are real golf, not filming. And so I'm kind of more of a tournament player right now. But I'd say, generally speaking, I've been more content focused the last 2 years.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's tough because like filming, you can't, if you're filming golf and trying to do all that, you can't really mentally practice or mentally like engage into like a round of golf. And so it's very interesting because I've gone 2 years. I don't care about tournaments. Like, it's doing well, it's fine, but I want to create videos. Now it's like, man, I'm playing pretty good golf. I want to like, how awesome would it be to qualify for the U.S. Open? Because imagine the content that would come from that. Not necessarily like me furthering my professional career, like making money. It's very interesting and wild to think about.
Yeah, it certainly is. And I think what's so cool too is how much you're helping. Not only is it from an entertainment standpoint, because your videos are a lot of fun to watch, super entertaining, but just for the insight and the knowledge and how it's helping so many people who might be in a similar position, who want to qualify, who want to, just you taking people through your thought process of how you set up your practice rounds. It's this very fine and interesting line of both entertainment but also education, and I'm sure there's a lot of people who get a lot out of it. And I think you've been creative in the way you've done certain things. Like sometimes when you are actually out there playing to qualify, you're still bringing us along. You're saying, I can't talk to the camera, I'm trying to play here, but I'm still going to film it and show you guys. So I think you've done an incredible job with that. But speaking to the golf in general, I mean, there's a lot of talent in that family. You guys, it's not one, it's not two, it's three, even counting your sister, of how many people are playing golf at a super high level. So where does that come from? You mentioned age 7 playing in the first tournament. Is this your father getting you guys started in golf? Is it just a shared, cultural passion in the family? How does that come together?
My dad being a golf pro played a massive, role. Like, we just hung around with him on the golf course, and that kind of kicked off our passion. And this is something we wanted. I think me and Wesley share the same thing. It's like, we just always loved the game, and then we wanted to get really good, and then we wanted to get really good to beat each other. And then we want to get really good so we can beat Dad. And so you throw all this in there, and then yes, a little bit of a head start because we had some good quality information at our disposal, but it wasn't forced on us. And so I think that's why we turned out to be fairly successful golfers, because our dad was like, hey, I'm not going to force you to play this. Like, if you want to get better, I'm here. If you want to play in tournaments, you practice, we'll get you there. But like, if you're not passionate, go find something you're passionate about. So it like allowed us to really find that passion and the desire to play and get better at golf on our own. And so just something that's kind of, cultivated at an early age and just kind of grew as time. But anyone with siblings knows that's something that I think helped us, is like, we wanted to, one up each other. And so that's something you can't really quantify. Yes, we put the work in, we did all the things that you had to do to play good golf, but having someone who's also really good at golf by your side to kind of push you along played a massive role. But yeah, I mean, golf is kind of all we know as a family. My dad loves it. He's passionate about it still, 6 years old. He loves it just as much as he did when he started. And so I think it's kind of cool. And we're just a big golf family.
Yeah.
At least.
It's cool. And I think I could assume, because I know we all feel it here, is how cool it is to see the support for each other. I mean, you constantly giving Wesley updates and following his journey and rooting for him, even on your story, his awesome hole out yesterday. I mean, it's refreshing to see. Frank has 3 brothers. I have 2 brothers. I mean, it's cool to see. It's like when you watch Bryan Brothers golf, you're getting a little bit of everything from the family. It's not just George doing this. So it's super great. I love the content. I'm a fan. I've been a fan for a while, and I'm excited to hear about this journey now to the U.S. Open.
Yeah. So take us through that.
I want to know the process first. Like, if someone's going to go through this process, where does it start? How many events do you have to qualify, and where are you at now?
So I've been doing this qualifier. I don't know if it's 20 years, might be an exaggeration, but probably when I was 17, I signed up for the first 17 or 18 is when I first go. But basically, you have to have, I think, a one something handicap, and you sign up and you go through the first stage, which is local qualifying. And at that local qualifying, there is, say, 70 to 90 guys playing for anywhere between 4 and 8 spots. Yeah, that sounds about right. So then one day shootout, low. Let's just call it 5. Low 5 advance to sectionals, which is the second stage of U.S. Open Qualifier. And at sectionals is a 36-hole one-day shootout with the same I'd say 70 to 90 guys, sometimes maybe 60 or 50, depending on which site you're at, all vying for a handful of spots to go from there straight to U.S. Open. So like me, I'm going to D.C. is my sectional qualifier, but anyway, that's getting ahead. But so really 3 rounds separate anyone from being in the U.S. Open. Like the site that I'm going at, over time, historically, you shoot a pair of 69s, you're in the U.S. Open. So really 6 to 8 under over 2 days at a hard golf course. I could be teeing up at the country club in a month or so with the best in the world. And so that's the cool thing about the U.S. Open qualifiers, because any high level golfer can get hot, over the span of a month, and so that's really all it takes. And it's kind of cool because I don't know, it's just something I've always done my whole life. The U.S. Open qualifier with, oh man, I can play with the best in the world, and I've only advanced to sectionals 2 other times. So this is kind of cool that I was able to advance to sectionals while documenting, or being dumb enough to document the whole journey.
Right.
And I somehow, then we'll talk more about it. I don't know if we can get into it now, but like the first local qualifier, it wasn't catching it wasn't like catching lightning in a bottle. It was like not fluky at all. It's like I put the work in, the game felt pretty good, and it has for a little bit, but like that day, mentally I was in a pretty, this place I hadn't been in a long time on the golf course, and physically, didn't miss a drive, was in position all day, just, playing smart golf, 20 feet, 30 feet away from the hole, missing in correct places. And then at the end of the round, just got hot with the irons and made some birdies coming in. But it was a bogey-free 67 to get me through local qualifying of the U.S. Open while filming the whole thing. It's really, it's just really cool because it shows that I can play golf at a high level, but B, it like takes people on a journey to like, that are friends of the channel that can like, hey, let's follow along George's journey to U.S. Open and get behind. So it's cool that I was able to give them something to root on and cheer for, and then keep the journey going. So they're invested in now sectionals. So it really was a cool thing that I kind of thought up last minute. I'm like, hey, I'll sign up for the U.S. Open qualifier and kind of make some videos around it and kind of bring people along on the journey. Not knowing if I'll get through, I didn't really care, but like,
right.
It was cool that I played like not fluky. I've shot some fluky 64s and 5s and 6s that kind of like it could have gone the other way, but this one there was no like I was in control the whole day, which was really cool because honestly I hadn't felt like that since college.
Yeah. So, that's got to be a good feeling heading into these. Yeah. Where's the game right now? Do you feel like you've got a good chance of pushing through here? Nobody's got a crystal ball, but how do you feel? Are you feeling like you're
after watching his flat stick in that 67, come on. I think he's feeling pretty good.
Putter's good. It's one of those things that honestly we'll see. Like physically, we should be in a good spot come June 6th, but again, it's golf. You never really know. But mentally, I think that's the reason I got through this first stage. Is I had a weird like confidence that I was going to get through, even though I hadn't played tournament golf in 8 months. On paper, yes, I've had some good rounds on YouTube, but like in pro golf, it doesn't matter. But I had this weird confidence in like game plan and everything, the mental side of things. I felt really good, and like confidence plays a big role in this game, and that's kind of what I'm going to carry over to sectionals. Like, there's no reason for me to qualify. That's all the more reason that I'm somehow believing that I am going to get through. 36 holes at a golf course where I know it's like you got to drive the ball well. I've played there once before, and that's what I do well. And so, like, if I have a day where I'm on with my driver like I was, then I'm going to have a lot of chances of birdie. And then all I'm going to have to do from there is just have a good mental kind of game, a good game plan, and just, like, not kind of let the moment kind of freak me out. But I have a feeling, come the last 9 holes, if I'm in the hunt, then there's gonna be some nerves and like some like there was nerves this first one, but like that's only to get through to second stage. But this one, like with the actual U.S. Open kind of lingering there will be some nerves that'll be interesting to like see how I handle.
Yeah, and that's interesting that you brought that up, because my next question was about nerves. You mentioned it in the video that you were nervous when you jumped off, then you calmed down, and then at the end the nerves came back in. So how do you deal, especially for our listeners who play tournament golf, how do you keep those nerves calm? How did you fire that bogey-free 67 with those nerves? You
really don't. You just have to know that, like, for me, it's just something that's kind of been ingrained. It's a concept that like I've heard thousands of times. I know how to do it, but to put it in practice is really hard. It's basically, even you hear all the great players, like, I don't ever not feel nervous. I don't ever not feel shaking hands or beating chest or beating heart. It's just knowing that I can perform while feeling that way. And so, like, really get into a space where, like, you literally just say, hey, my routine, I'm going to trust that. My hands are shaking and I feel like weird, but I'm going to make a swing, stick to my like swing thought, and just trust that I've done this in practice. And then I know that like I can still hit these shots while feeling this way. And then you hit a few, like the first drive, I'm very nervous and hit a perfect drive. And I was like, okay. Or it just gives you the confidence, like, okay, well, golfers know feel is not real in golf. And so if you can just trick your mind and be like, I don't care what's happening, I'm just going to stick to my routine and just swing. And then eventually you get some shots in the arsenal, like, oh, wow, I was pretty good. I can do this.
Yeah.
Still, nerves never go away. You just have to learn how to accept them and just know that, like, you go through your routines, you stick to you have your swing thought, you really harp down on that one thought that you're trying to like think of on the golf swing, and just swing, and whatever happens.
Yep.
But man, it is stressful. I'll tell you that much.
I bet.
Well, you're knocking on the door at the U.S. Open. It's going to be stressful.
I mean,
sure.
I know. But it was cool. I mean, because that 17th hole, I was
just going to the par 3, right?
Yeah.
I was just going to ask. I didn't know how you were going to get up and down. I'm saying to myself, I was watching, is he going to get this?
Yeah. And so after I made birdie on 16, it gets me to 5 under. And going in, I knew, like, you just know, like 5 under more than likely is going to be safe. Mm-hmm. 4 under is kind of what I had in my mind, like, is a good number. 3 under, I'm going to fight for, but might not be enough. But that's a number that, like, worst case scenario, that's what I need to get to. So 5 under with 2 to play, okay, if I'm just par in, we're in. Bogey, one of the two, probably going to be good enough to at least have a chance. So that whole water all down the left, par 3 is not overly difficult, but water left, bunker right. You go long right, not easy up and down. And so, like, it was 195 downwind, and I play a fade right now. And so it's like, well, if I want to get this on the green, I got to kind of start it around that pin, fade it off, but that brings water into play. Mm-hmm. Not to mention I was in between clubs, and you're juiced, you're nervous, and you're like,
oh, jeez.
Okay, well, so I picked an 8-iron, which was not going to ever get there, but it got me to a position that, like, if I hit a good shot, it's going to get to the front middle of the green. And that, I know for a fact, if I get on that part, bogey's the worst I'm making. I'll probably, your 3-putt's definitely a possibility, but bogey's not going to kill me. So I picked a club that was going to give me the best chance at making par or bogey at worst. And as soon as I hit it, I kind of thinned a little bit, but it missed the bunker. And at that point in time, I was like, okay, worst I'm going to do is 3-putt this. But then I hit this beautiful putt up there to like 4 feet and made it. And so at that point, I'm like, 8, 9, in my 18th hole, very easy hole. Yep. As good as I'm driving it. So it was a big relief, but like it was stressful because even if I hit it in that bunker, which is not a bad shot per se, because it keeps you out of the water, it's not a guaranteed up and down, because then you're thinking, don't scull it, don't chunk it. And it just brings in a lot of things that I did not want to think about.
Yeah.
The 17th hole, playing good. So no, it was cool. It was like, you draw up game plans, and even before the round, I was like, okay, I'm playing good. My game plan will be, because I know the pin's gonna be back left, and I'll try to get something front, middle, right to where, just rely on my putter. So it was kind of cool to, overcome nerves, but then also like have a game plan in place before the day starts and kind of execute. So yeah, it was pretty cool.
All right, guys, we'll get you back to our interview with George in just a second, but want to do a quick thanks to our sponsors, Precision Pro. Absolutely loving the R1 Smart Rangefinder. And have you guys tried this R1 yet? You know, the rangefinder, it's the smartest out there on the market. We did an entire breakdown on our YouTube.
It's got so many features to it.
It's
that's the
feature
problem.
rich, and I mean, we've seen some other rangefinders out there start to work in the GPS and the laser, but where the R1 really sets itself apart is the MySlope. So you hear someone say, like, what's the slope on that? The slope adjustment. Well, the MySlope is a little change that makes a huge difference. And what it does is the Precision Pro app, which is just incredible, very easy user interface, love it, walks you through. You get to put in your own launch characteristics. You get to put in your things like your ball speed, your launch angle. It gets to know you like it was your caddy. And what it'll do when you're out there is it'll give you adjusted numbers based on the way you as an individual golfer hit the ball. Just brilliant. It also takes into effect, because of the fact that it's smart and it's working off of that connection from your phone, it's taking local weather into effect.
How cool.
It's telling you things like wind and wind direction. So you're with one look through that viewfinder, you're able to get your GPS, your laser, and your numbers adjusted for your golf game and local conditions of the day. To me, doesn't get much smarter than that. You got to get out there, check out the R1, and don't forget to use code Golficity for some extra discounts at checkout. So check out the Precision Pro website. Use that code Golficity. Something you got to see to believe, but super, super excited. And we've been using it on every round, that R1 Smart Rangefinder.
We're loving the technology. And you may be listening and say, well, how do I get all those distance, ball speed, club speed? Well, easy enough. You could just go get a mobile launch monitor. And right now, Rapsodo, it's probably the most inexpensive launch monitor out there. I know these things are becoming, more friendly to purchase, instead of the $20,000 TrackMans. For $399, you can get the Rapsodo MLM, which gives you all the metrics you want: distance, club speed, launch angle. That's just to name a few. But what I love the most is that data visualization. It gives you all those insights. The new shot dispersion feature, just to be specific, it has this visual overlay of every shot that you hit at the range. It's all color coded, pinpointed with distance and accuracy. So you can optimize your club gapping if you think you have a wedge that might be too far apart. I mean, it has it all there. It's $399. You can use it indoors, hit into a net in the garage in the wintertime, use it outdoors, of course. It's extremely portable. It's like the size of a rangefinder. It clips right onto your bag, and you can have a custom now practice plan for all your strengths and weaknesses. So go check out the Rapsodo MLM. Use the code to get this, guys. Golficity MLM, all lowercase. Use that, and you're going to get $100 off, which will get you that $399.
$399 for all that. And like you said, you just make your practice so much more powerful.
That's right. When
you have this, and you can it because it retains all that data. After your session, you can go back, you can look at your dispersion, and you could say, hey, my 8-iron in particular, I was spraying it all over the place. I need to tighten that dispersion up. You can go in there with an accurate plan for making your game better. Right. And that's what the best golfers do, is they go in there and they practice with a purpose. So like Mike said, check out their Rapsodo mobile launch monitor. Use that coupon code Golficity MLM. All right, let's get you back with our interview with George Bryan.
Where are you at now as far as like a team in place that if June 6th is a week before the actual event, so you get through, what's next for you? You got your looper ready, everything to head up north and rock and roll?
You've played it before, right? You've played the country club, Brookline.
You played the country club?
Yeah.
Yeah, I filmed video. That's another reason why I think I can just like randomly, I was like, you know what? Like, I'll have played the course, so why not get through? So like that's played there, and I don't know. But yeah,
we played it last week, by the way.
Yeah,
we played it. It was easy.
Super easy. Yeah. Beat us up.
Handicaps. It beat us up, but
those greens are tiny.
Yeah, it's insane. It's one of the best courses I've ever played. But honestly, the team, like, once I get there, the thing that I'm going to be trying to do, yes, I want to play well, but we're going to tell the best story possible. We're going to have a team that's going to be more video guy based than like caddy based.
Yeah, you go.
Like, I've played in golf tournaments. I don't know how to get there, but like, we want to make sure we cover the event well. And so, yeah, that's where it would, yes, I have some coaches. My dad would come, the whole family would come. Probably one of my other swing guys that I work with, he comes up there. The caddy would be interesting to figure out, because do we go with the guy that's got me through first and second stage, or do we go with like a local, someone that's like knows the course and a little more like caddy.
Yeah.
I don't know. So that's the one interesting thing that would be very interesting, because again, if you get through first and second stage with the same caddy, how do you fire him?
Right.
Right. But
Right.
so yeah, but no, it's going to be interesting, because then you get through the U.S. Open to the U.S. Open, that would roll me right into the Open Qualifier, which is like the week after that.
Jeez. And where's that?
We got England.
It's
going
in
to Leeds, England, for all the UK listeners.
That's awesome.
So yeah, it's gonna be a while next 3 or 4 weeks, or 5 weeks for sure.
Now is Wesley playing in the same qualifier with you in June?
Hope that's that's my first choice. He's into DC site. That's my first choice, and I signed up early. Plus, I finished second. Like, in theory, I should get my first pick. I'm hoping, and I don't know, just hoping the U.S. Open kind of sees that. Like, hey, that'd be kind of a cool story. Like, me and him being able to compete and like tell that. I mean, from a content perspective, that's why it's just a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it, because it'd be the first time me and Wesley have played in a tournament in like 8 years together. 7 years.
Yeah.
And so that aspect, but then able to like have my guy that's come up to film, basically tell the US Open story, me versus Wesley. Who knows? I get through, Wesley gets through, we both get through. Like, there's a lot of cool things that, like, from a storytelling kind of my content side.
Yeah.
It's like, man, this is going to be a lot of fun.
And they love that story too. And why wouldn't they? There's no other, sport that you can have a situation like this where you can, as you said, you're like 2 rounds, 2 wins away from getting in. And when we were up there for media day, I mean, they were really driving that home. So I think that would be a home run for people who will follow that. So what is then the plan of attack for sectionals? Is it to get up there, do some practice rounds, kind of same type of thing, film it for the content, get that out, and then just go and play it? Do you think you'll be able to film your round at sectionals in the same way, like have somebody just following you? Is that even something you can do?
I am. I mean, we're until USGA tells me to take it down, but we're filming it. Because that's just something that's like, you kind of ask forgiveness later. Yeah. They've seen the first couple videos, so it's fine. And like, so it's not like it's going up on your channel, you're filming someone else. It's like my content, I own my own stuff, kind of like the tour stuff. Is like, I can post whatever on Bryan Bros, because it's Wesley's channel. It's Wesley's stuff. Anyway, and so we got a film guy we're gonna go up there Saturday. I'll probably walk the course, probably film some stuff on that end, and Sunday's practice round, and then 36 on Monday. But yeah, that'll be the plan. Is I want to tell, we have an actual guy that's the guy that filmed first stage does video for the football team, USC. So he's really talented, but so it's not just me. I'm not the best filmer. I'm decent. I've gotten better, but like, this is the guy that I'm bringing. It's his job, so he can like film well, but also tell the story more than just like, hey, here's 36 holes on Monday. It's like, no, I want to tell like, hey, the practice round, me and Wesley competing, get more of a narrative, just more of a story than just like 36 holes of golf. So there'll be a few videos that come from this that, practice rounds, like, so it's gonna be. I'm excited for the content, because it'll be fun, it'll be informative, it'll be also, it'll paint the broader picture of what qualifying for the U.S. Open looks like for me and Wesley's perspective. I don't know. I'm excited for that kind of weekend.
Yeah, I mean, it was a cool vibe watching you come back in for 17 and 18 with a voiceover to explain those last 2 holes. That really got me back engaged. I mean, Retention City, by the way, I watched the whole thing. I mean, how can you not? I mean, I'm watching you saying, as you're sitting in the car in the beginning of the video going, there's no way he's going to vlog this thing and stay mentally focused for the U.S. Open.
Right.
And then immediately you said, guys, sorry, I'm not going to talk to the camera today. I got to focus. I'm like, all right, there we go. And it was good. It was great. Loved how it flowed. It was just golf. It was great edit. Great content. Keep it coming.
And like I said, I think there's got to be a lot of people who are watching this. Not only like we're entertained. Mike and I are not 2 guys who are ever making it through to any U.S. Open, right? But we're entertained by it, and we're rooting you on. But
we only get media
guys,
day.
What?
We only get media day.
Right. We get our media day credentials. That's it. But what I'm saying is I'm sure there are a lot of people who are watching this and learning from it too, learning from your process, and that's going to help them get through these different steps. So I think that in that way, it's just so cool that it's being done. So tell us real quick about jumping ahead to the Open Championship. Now, this, are you working with the RNA on this, or is this something you're just tackling on your own? I remember hearing you mention something about the RNA being involved.
Oh yeah, this one. I mean, it's hard that you can't pick favorites, but equally, like this is something that's kind of a dream because I commented on one of Peter Finch's Road to the Open videos that the RNA did last year, kind of chronicling whatever, like a big production. And I was just like, hey, do you guys want an American to kind of follow along? And this was just a comment on their video. This was last year. And then I got an email probably 3 or 4 or 5 months later. They'll say, hey, this is so-and-so from the RNA. We're definitely interested if you're like up to discuss. I'm like, huh, that's kind of cool. And so anyway, this is going to be the RNA's going to be kind of telling the story through the open YouTube platforms, much like Peter Finch and the other guys they followed, but kind of telling my story, in golf and, obviously YouTube and whatever else they want to tell to kind of like get to know me. And then we'll follow along at the qualifying process. June 20th is the first stage, or the regional qualifier, as they call it. So yeah, it's really going to be pretty cool because again, anytime you can get the RNA kind of telling your story, it opens up a different audience, but also it's like kind of really, I mean, it's really cool. It's like I get to go over because I watched the Open growing up, and I'm going to call it the British Open a lot, and I'm going to get some flack, but I'm sorry because I'm a guy from Chapin, South Carolina. Okay, and to tell a story of me potentially like qualifying for the Open and going over to experience that culture, that golf, something that I've watched my whole life and loved, and so yeah, I'm very very excited because again, I'm just dumb enough to think that I have a chance to get through, and like my game. As I saw in the U.S. Open qualifier, like it only takes 3 rounds, and I feel like I'm in a pretty decent spot where I haven't been in a couple of years. So like, why not qualify for both or one, or at least give myself a chance? So I'm excited from like the golf side of things, not just like the content side.
Yeah, of course. Have you played much golf over there?
Not really. I played a handful of rounds. I played I call it the British Amateur, but yeah, the British Amateur in 2006 at St. George's, and then went over to Scotland in 2015 and played some golf. So very minimal, but I have it. It really is amazing.
Yeah, it sure is. You feel like, does your game translate pretty well? Did you play pretty well when you were over there?
The first time, not so much, but the second time I played the old course, played well, played some good golf at other courses. But the qualifying sites I picked were more like, not American style, but like just they're inland or whatever. I don't know what the official terminology, but like it's just like a typical course like you'd find over here, tree lined, small greens. Looks like you got to ball strike it around. It's actually Alistair McKenzie's very first golf course that he designed, all Woodley. So I'm very excited to play because it's kind of similar to what I play around here, and it's not linksy because again I don't have much experience there, but. We'll figure it out once the time comes. But the 2 qualifying sites I picked were more kind of what I'm used to, tree lined. You got to kind of work the ball. Smaller greens. So yeah.
It's a surprise. When we were over there in St. Andrews, just how diverse the golf can be. You can play a links course, and then you can drive 15 minutes, and you got this like parkland course that like just feels like you're back home. It's just, it's incredible the way that works. But look, listen, I know we're a little bit limited on time, but we're super excited for you. And, we're going to be following this journey along. And like I said, I commend you on wearing both of these hats. I mean, it's exciting that you're able to do this, create all that great content and play good golf, because it's tough. Usually one kind of tips the other. You either play well or you film well, and it's one or the other. But of course, that's come from.
It is very stressful. That's the tension that we talked about earlier. Is that like I want to do both great, and it's not really possible because again, I'm a golfer first, and but I know in order to like make good videos, it's tough. Especially like when I'm filming matches, like me, Wesley, Will Miles, and Scott Stevens. There's 4 of us. And I'm trying to film all 3 and myself, keep up with the pace of, also take the ridicule from Wesley, everyone else. Like, man, your game's terrible. What's going on? I'm like, I'm having to run and film 3 people.
Yep.
And then it's like,
that tripod life.
Yeah.
Right.
So But that's what I'm very proud of, kind of, and the other side of things is like, I know like you put it on the internet for people to either, if you play bad, you're just gonna get not roasted, because again, I'm past the point of caring. I'm my own worst critic, like hardest critic, so I don't care what people think about a golf game. But you want to perform, like there's a thing that you want to like show people that you're playing, that you're a good golfer, and like you put it on the internet for people to see. You're very vulnerable, and so you put all this thing together and to like actually perform well, and like in these, because I played in tournaments and played fairly well, like filming it, but still, it's like I have those same feelings every day when I go the first day. I'm like, I really want to hope I play well.
Right.
I'll be have a camera guy, all 18 holes, just taking all the good, bad, and ugly, and everything in between. So yeah, no, it's definitely tough, but it's been a lot of fun to figure out, and it's been rewarding to like see that the work I've put in is paying off, and and still also creating fun videos as well as playing good golf. So it's been cool.
That's
cool,
very cool. And I know we're looking further ahead, but before we let you go, other than obviously we talked a lot about the U.S. Open, the Open Championship, anything other big things on the fire for people to look forward to coming? I mean, obviously you've got a lot on your plate just getting through that. Yeah. But for the year, is there any other, events, travel, anything like that you'll be doing with the channel that we could keep an eye out for?
I'd say those are big. We'll after those tournaments kind of go, I mean, it'll be tough not to like want to compete more, because I mean it's been fun like taking kind of a trip back and just being, I mean I still film videos, but I'm maybe filming once a week now instead of like twice a week, and trying to play a little more golf. So it's been fun like going back and being a golfer again. But I don't know, I'll maybe some Monday qualifiers for like the tour, like maybe one Monday qualifier, but I don't know, content or like competition wise, we'll have to see. But I know, telling Wesley's story, and his summer is jam packed as well, and so I think he's right on the cusp of playing some really good golf, and I want to be there to kind of document his journey, because I know we didn't touch on it much today, but his kind of story and his kind of road back to the PGA Tour is fascinating. Yeah. It's the Bryan Bros golf, it's me and him, and so like yes, he's not around as much because he's on the PGA Tour, and there's only so many weeks that I can physically travel and film him and make PGA Tour videos. But I'm excited for, I think that's what the back end of the summer is probably going to be, going with him, playing some more or filming some more PGA Tour stuff, because I think he's about to start playing some good golf, and I want to like kind of it's my road to the U.S. Open. This is kind of his road to kind of keep his PGA Tour card, get it back, and keep people, keep him engaged, because it's been fun to kind of see him want to do YouTube more and like film videos and tell his story, because like, he's a PGA Tour player. He doesn't have to do this. Like He can just focus on, playing golf. So it's cool that like he's willing to kind of put his life out there and share his story, his journey, and get people kind of excited about him playing golf, and bring people along through the ups and downs that is pro golf. And so that's I think the back end of the year is going to be more focusing on his tournaments rather than mine. But I mean, heck, who knows? We get in the U.S. Open, we get in the Open. I mean, we might have to go start playing some, find some tournaments and playing, huh?
Exactly.
For real. And like I said, like there's a lot of great YouTube golf coming up, and that space is really growing, but there are very few that are doing what you're doing, which is walking that line between creating content and also working through the journey of this competitive golf. There's a lot of guys who are mixing and matching and doing matches against each other, and there's some great golfers out there, but there are a few that are doing what you're doing. So I think you guys have got a really cool, like, little niche of what you're doing, and it creates some very unique content. So we're excited to keep seeing it, keep it going, and we'll be rooting hard for you.
We will be rooting real hard, and we're sending you good vibes, because we'll be back up at Brookline for the week. So we hope to see you and Wesley inside the ropes.
We'll have to get together.
Definitely.
And figure out, we need to figure out how we can get together, play some golf, stuff, watch a bunch of your videos. And you guys up north haven't, I mean, the golf y'all have compared to what we have, I just watch all these videos, and even like the second-rate courses, like, golly, like, why can't our second-rate courses look like what you guys have up there? So
yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's an open invitation. Anytime you're here, we'll take you to some of our favorite spots, and you can give us a whole bunch of strokes, and we'll get out there and mix it up.
I'm even liking like a George and one of us versus Josh Kelly and one of the other guy. I think we could do something fun there. We played with Josh last summer. So
I love Josh. That's one of my favorite
Yeah.
guys. He's
Yep.
I think he's probably one of the, like, as far as Instagram golf, like, he's probably the best. Like, he's very creative. He's really good too. But
Yep.
like, I always love filming with him because I just feel so dumb. Like, man, you make it look so easy. Like, you're way better. Like, you have all these ideas, and I feel like I'm kind of creative, but then I got nothing compared to you.
yeah,
He's just a good dude too. Just
Yeah.
fun to be out there. But yeah, we'll make something happen. But either way, like I said, this was long overdue. So you appreciate you taking the time. Come on
Yeah,
here,
for sure.
talk to us. Like I said, it's right in this kind of beginning of what could be a very exciting journey. And like I said, we're excited for you. So just keep grinding, keep that camera rolling so that we can watch
I
it.
know.
And we'll be rooting you on, like we said.
Well, yeah, appreciate it. Thanks for having me on. Glad we could Andy can nap while we make this happen.
yeah. You made it through the baby nap.
Made it.
I
I
know.
thought we were
yeah,
going to hear the baby monitor, but
The
we got
dad life. I
know,
love
hopefully
it.
hopefully we can get another like 45 minutes out of her. I don't think she's gonna wake up in the next 20 minutes, but it'd be nice. I can get a little bit of work done and
There you
all
go.
before she wakes up.
There you go.
good stuff, George.
Yeah, great having you. And I'm sure we'll catch up with you again soon.
Yeah, gents, thanks so much.
Thank you,
Appreciate
George.
guys.
Take
Thank
care.
you.
Yep.
All right, that was a lot of fun.
How cool, man.
I always
cool
like,
journey.
Not only is it, George is such a good guy and such an entertaining guy to watch.
Mhm.
I think he is not even giving himself enough credit for how good he is on camera.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's just very entertaining, but also I love that because I love just having a little bit of that rub off on me watching these videos of like what a good golfer does to prepare. Just having him walk through, and you heard him talking about it there. Like I knew if I was short, I could be short on the left side.
Mm-hmm.
Like so many times I find myself, I'm guilty of this. I just look at the pin and
And that's it.
I'm like, oh, what's my number to that pin? And I
Right.
just go for it. And you start to watch how he breaks down the game and how he knows where his spots where he can get in trouble, where he could lose a stroke or two if he doesn't hit his shot. Because even the best golfers in the world don't hit their shots every time.
Right.
So it's just such a unique perspective. Like I said at the beginning of the show, if you're not already subscribed to the Bryan Brothers YouTube channel, do
Yeah,
it.
do it.
It's content that it walks that line so well of being both entertaining but informative. And plus it's so much fun to follow along with Wesley and his journey on tour.
Mm-hmm.
Just two really great dudes just making great golf content and playing great golf. And from an entertainment standpoint, what more could you ask for?
Absolutely. It's a must follow for sure. Definitely check them out.
Yeah, definitely check them out. So, guys, hope you enjoyed this week's show. We'll link to everything in the show notes. You can get to those by your own at Golficity or in the Golficity app. If you haven't already downloaded the Golficity app, it is free. You can get all of our podcasts there as well. No matter where you listen to the podcast, that's a great one. And we push out notifications every time a new podcast goes live. So make sure you check that out as well. And we'll see everybody again next week.